Hi everyone, this is Athena from Courage Coaching. Thank you for stopping by today. Now, our topic in today's video is about how we tell a friend of ours that we have suffered abuse in childhood. Why do we feel the need to tell someone close to us that we had this experience? And what happens if they don't respond in a way that we need them to? Now, when you've come to the realization that you have had childhood trauma and that you were emotionally abused in childhood or neglected, you may have had more severe trauma, which means that there was a combination of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Well, it isn't easy to explain this to a friend that you may have or a group of friends that you may have that have never had anything like this happen, who maybe don't understand the depths of someone's trauma. Now, it's important, first of all, to understand that when we share these things with a loved one, somebody that we trust and someone who's a good friend, the important thing to remember is that if this person is truly a good friend, they will listen, they will support us, and they will ask questions. They will want to understand more, and they will want to find a way to help us. Now, if you have a friend that you decide to share this story with, and they really don't know what to say, and they may actually deny what you've said or invalidate what you've said, then you're not going to feel as safe, are you? Because maybe you grew up in an environment where you were constantly being invalidated. Maybe you grew up in a family where your emotions were constantly shut down, where you were not allowed to express sadness or anger or frustration. Then you are not going to feel safe sharing this with this kind of friend. And of course, we're never really going to know how a friend is going to respond until we actually jump straight into the deep end and actually share our story with them. But you need to ask yourself, why are you sharing this story with your friend? What do you want to get out of this? Is the reason that you want to share this because you want to feel less alone, less isolated? Maybe you are no longer in touch with your family of origin because of the trauma you suffered, because of the abuse. Maybe you want your friend to understand why you struggle with anxiety, why you have difficulty trusting people, why you may struggle to have any relationship for that matter. Maybe you want to explain why you behave in certain ways or why it's always so difficult for you to go out and hang out with a big group of people. Maybe you want them to understand that your struggles are real, that you struggle with the effects of this trauma daily. Whatever your reason is, it's okay to share what happened to you with people that you trust. It's okay to have support. It's okay to ask for support, especially if you aren't able to afford therapy or coaching with someone that can support you. It's very important to have a small number of friends that you can call your family. Because what happens when we don't actually have a healthy mum and dad, when we don't have a safe adult in our family to go to with our concerns, is that we end up creating our own new family. And our new family could be a close neighbor or a close friend, or it could be our partner's family. We all need to have a close circle of people that we can share our true selves with, that we can be our true selves with, because we need social interaction. We need people in our life in order to feel more stable, more balanced, and more cared for. Now, when you approach a friend and you tell them that you've got something really important to tell them, you may feel quite nervous. You may feel quite vulnerable deciding to talk to them about your family. And that's okay. You are talking about something that's quite difficult, that makes you feel quite vulnerable. Think about how you word things and say something like, when I always get really anxious or when I'm really hard on myself, you know how it is when I struggle in social situations, or I really have low confidence. And your friend might say, yeah, okay, I've noticed that. Didn't think it was so bad though. Well, you can then say, well, the truth of the matter is, and this isn't something I've ever told anybody, is that I had really, really difficult relationship with my parents. And you know what they say, when things happen behind closed doors, others don't really know what's going on. Well, this essentially is the case for me. I've had very difficult parents, very unloving parents. My parents never supported me. They never encouraged me to grow. They never encouraged me to do well at school. They always wanted things from me. And I ended up being the adult in my family from a very young age. Both my parents are extremely emotionally immature. They are extremely shut down emotionally. They don't like expressing emotion. They don't let me express my emotions. Every time I tell them that I'm upset about something or that something's hard for me, they shut me down. They don't let me speak my mind. They don't support me and ask me, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How can we support you?" My parents have never ever asked me in my life what they can do to support me, what they can do to help me. They've never encouraged me to do something for myself. They always expect me to do things for them, and this has been the case since I was a young child. So that could be one way of saying things. You could also just say, well, my parents were really neglectful and really abusive when I was growing up. You are my friend, and it is important to me that I have people in my life that I can trust. So I wanted to share this with you because it's a huge part of who I've become and the struggles that I have in my life. And I want to feel that I can talk to somebody. And if your friend cares about you genuinely, they will want to help. They will want to listen. They will offer to be there for you. They will ask questions. Now, the difficult subject that is usually very, very hard for our friends to understand is when we decide to go no contact with our parents. It's a very difficult thing for others to understand when they haven't had abuse and when they haven't had neglect in their childhood. And when they haven't had to fight with a parent their whole life, trying to get that parent to understand you, yet that parent never tries to make any changes in order to be a better parent. A lot of friends may judge you for doing that. They may say, you've only got one parent, you've only got one mum or one dad. They may not understand how severe some of the abuse can be. They may not understand how much this has affected you. And in this regard, I would say that this friend is not a safe person anymore to share these things with. You will only feel safe with someone if they truly see you and if they truly hear you. If they say, I'm so sorry to hear you've been through that. I'm so sorry that you've struggled so much. What can I do? What do you need? Those are the things that you want a friend to say. The people that don't understand what you've been through and invalidate your experience, they might tell you to toughen up or don't be such a baby or don't live in the past. They may come up with all sorts of things that are invalidating. These people are no longer safe people to talk to. And that alone may make you feel unsafe and not want that person in your life anymore. And that is okay. Even if you don't have anybody else in your life, you don't deserve to be in a friendship with someone who invalidates your experience, doesn't listen to you, and doesn't support you. We may have attracted friends that were just as dysfunctional as our parents were because that's all we've known. But it doesn't mean that we need to tolerate such friendships. When we start healing from the trauma in our childhoods, we have a choice. We can choose to be with people that are supportive, that are there for us, that listen to us, that love us, that care for our well-being. We don't have to tolerate people that don't. So I know, as somebody who has had childhood trauma, how difficult it is to have genuine friendships, people that really understand how hard it is. The best thing I can say is if you have friends, make sure that they're stable as much as possible emotionally. Make sure that they listen to you and they understand you and they are there for you. You want to have good people in your life, people that understand. If you have to leave old friends behind because they are no longer healthy for you, then that is okay. If you feel that a friend says something and this makes you feel really uneasy and it triggers you, and it makes you feel really helpless and maybe hopeless like you did when you were a child, then this person is not for you. A good friend will listen, will ask questions, and will offer their help, their support. That is what you deserve. That is the least you deserve. So please remember that. That is the end of the video. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.